You have to see this.
It's not true that all Muslims read the same Quran. No, that's not true. You have at least 14 versions of the Arabic Quran still in circulation today. I'll name you two, Hafs and Warsh.
Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, I have a question. So I just watched a video and this person said that there is two different Qurans called the Hafs and the Walsh. Are these two completely different Qurans?
No, they're not completely different Qurans. The Hafs and Warsh refer to different recitation styles or methods of pronunciation. The text itself remains the same across all recitations.
So the definitions are exactly the same.
Yes, the definitions and meanings remain exactly the same.
There's no doubt on this topic. How can this guy blatantly lie about something that is so easy to prove? If you want, just get ChatGPT and ask it yourself. Honestly.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
What do you guys think?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be part one of a series called Muslim, Blonde, and a Half Brain. As you just listened to the video from some lady called Lily, the blonde Muslima, she is trying to say that the Hafs and the Warsh are the same. Right? So she's trying to make fun of Sam Shamoun. Well, I'm not a big fan of Sam. Sam is 100% correct, except he said that there are 14. No, ladies and gentlemen, there are 30 canonized Qira'at recitations. But I'm sure the blonde ditz over there, she already knew that because I'm sure she did the research. I wonder how much the Ummah is paying her to fool people. I mean, the gal's got 1.9 million followers, right? So why shouldn't people believe her? Well, because she is a liar for Islam and she doesn't know anything that she's talking about. So I took it upon myself that I'm going to do a series just on some of her videos that she's posted on TikTok. Okay? So I'm going to use Grog. I'm going to use ChatGPT. Now, I don't know what kind of chat she's got there. Maybe she's already pre-programmed it to give her the certain answers. I can assure you that ChatGPT, Grog is not going to side with her. And then I'm going to show you the book called The Bridges, 10 Translations of the 10 Qira'ats, which show the differences between the different recitations, like Hafs, the Warsh, the Duri, the Kalun, the Asim, the Nafi, the Ibn Kathir. I mean, she's blonde for a reason, and it ain't because she's smart. So I asked Grog, I said, when we examine the 30 canonized Qira'ats, do we find differences that affect word meaning, tenses, etc.? What does Grog say? Yes. When examining the 30 canonized Qira'at, aka variant readings of the Quran, there are differences that can affect word meaning, tenses, and other linguistic aspects. Though these variations are generally subtle and do not alter the core theological or doctrine content of the text, I didn't ask Grog for that. The Qira'at are rooted in the oral transmission of the Quran. Oral transmission, ladies and gentlemen, is bogus. You can't rely on oral transmission. Not for memorizing something perfect. Okay? Reflecting slight variations in pronunciation, word forms, or grammatical structures that were authorized by Prophet Muhammad, who didn't exist, by the way, and preserved through rigorous chains of transmission, aka bullshit. Okay? So let's look at the analysis. What do we got here? The types of differences in the Qira'ats: pronunciation and phonetics, variations in vowel sounds or diacritical marks. That's where they get in trouble. The Fatha, the Kasra, the Dhamma can change how a word is pronounced. Yes. Example is in Quran 2:184. Some readings have, I'm not gonna even say the number. The word ta'udu, you count, while others have tu idu, you prepare. Clearly, you got two different words, two different meanings. Do you count or you prepare. These are phonetic differences, but but imply slight nuances and interpretations. I'm sorry, there's a big difference between you count and you prepare. Word morphology and tenses. The differences in verb form or tenses can occur. For instance, a verb might appear in the active voice in one reading, in the passive voice in another, or in a singular instead of a plural. These are all changes between Qurans. Example would be chapter 381. The Hafs reads, "You have brought," while the Warsh reads, "You have brought." Okay? Affecting the number of subjects implied. Okay? I mean, slight difference. I actually don't like that particular example, but it is what it is. Synonyms or word choice. Huff reads "he enjoined," while Warsh reads "he bequeathed." Both imply a command, but the nuance differs slightly. I mean, there's the slight differences. Grammatical structure, I really don't give a crap about that. Variation in case endings, prepositions, or word order can alter the grammatical role of words. Example, Quran 1:4. Some readings have "you" alone with a slight variation in vowel length or stress, which affects recitation but not the meaning. Okay. Addition and omission of words. Certain readings include or omit small particles, i.e. conjunctions like wa, or pronouns, which can subtly affect sentence flow or emphasis. Example would be Quran 7:172. Some readings include am, while others omit it, slightly changing the rhetorical structure. Well, if one has it and the other doesn't, then guess what? They're not the same Qurans. Impact on meaning, minor semantic shifts. Okay? Example, singular versus plural. Are you to feed one poor person, or are you to feed poor people? Contextual compatibility, theological consistency. No Qira introduces contradictions or alters core beliefs. Again, I'm not interested in that shit. Examples of notable differences. Quran chapter 259, Huff reads, "We will raise it," while the Warsh reads, "We will revive it." Are you going to give it CPR? Another example is 21:4. Huffs reads, "He said," but the Warsh says "kul," or say. This changes the verb from past to imperative, affecting whether the verse is a statement or a command, though the meaning aligns contextually. Again, I don't give a crap. Scholarly perspectives. All right, the Islamic scholar such as Ibn al-Jazari, who codified the 10 qirats, and each one of those had 2 narrators, totaling 20. And then they added another 10, made it 30. Conclusion. The 30 canonized qirat do exhibit differences that affect word meaning, tenses, and grammatical structures. All right? So I said, forget about core meaning or messages. Are the 29 identical in wording? Right? And Grok says no, the 30 canonized qirat are not identical in wording. So that means you have 30 different Quran Arabic versions. While they share the same core text of the Quran, they contain differences in wording, including variations in word choice, verb form, pronouns, prepositions, and occasionally the addition or omission of small particles. These differences arise from the authorized oral transmission of the Quran. Oral transmission is like a used tampon, only good for one time, reflecting slight linguistic variations preserved throughout rigorous chains of transmission. Nothing has been preserved. All right, here we go. Word choice. Quran 2:132. Huff reads, "He enjoined," while Warsh reads, "He bequeathed." Verb form 381. Huff reads, "You have brought." The Warsh says, "You have brought." Just a slight variation. Again, I don't like that one, right? It's just a slight change in the ending of the word. They added a U. And 7171 includes am while others omit it. Okay, again, blah 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 blah. All right, let's go to chat. And me and chat are on first name basis. I called my chat AI Giggly Bites. So I said, Giggly Bites, when we examine the 30 canonized kirats, do we find differences that affect word meaning, tenses, etc.? Forget core meanings or messages. Are the 29 identical in wording to the Hafs? It says, yes. When we examine the 30 canonized kirat, which include the 10 kirats and each of the two narrators or riwayat, whatever the hell, and further expansion in some traditions, we absolutely find differences that affect word meaning, grammatical forms, tenses, and even sentence structure, not just pronunciation. While these variants generally do not change the core theological message, I don't give a crap, they often alter specific meaning, details, or implications. Here's a breakdown of how they differ. Types of differences between among the different kirats. Lexical differences, different words. Example, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:125. The Hafs says take, right? It's in the present tense. The Warsh says they took. That's in the past tense, right? So this changes both the verb form and the subject. A command versus the past action. Morphological differences, verb tense, singular versus plural, and the gender. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:184, Hafs reads, those who can bear it. Other kirats, including Abu Jafar, says those who are made to bear it. This affects who is being described, a voluntary effort or versus an imposed burden. Now we go to grammatical differences, subject and object, or normal versus verbal. What do we got here? Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 22. The Hafs says, he saved you. The other one says, we saved you. The subject changes from he to we. Okay? Now I know Muslims will say he and we is Allah. Differences in pronouns and conjugations. Surah 966. The Hafs says, you have disbelieved. The other kirat says, I have disbelieved. Entirely changes the speaker and the mani. And this little ditzo blonde chick says, no, they're all the same. Dr. Kufophobia, they're all the same. Now we go to number 5, additions or omission of words. Some kirat contain extra particles. Other omit conjugations which can shift emphasis or grammatical relationships. Summary, are they identical to Hafs? No, the other 29 kirat are not identical in wording to Hafs. Each kirat has its own unique set of variations in wording, grammar, verb, tense, pronouns, etc. Some have hundreds of differences compared to Hafs. Ladies and gentlemen, did you read that? Some have hundreds of differences compared to Hafs. While traditional scholars argue that these variations are all divinely revealed because Muslims are liars and they have to lie, that's just bullcrap. Okay? Would you like a chart showing specific verses? I'm like, sure, why not? All right. Here we go, chapter 285. Warsh says, you do. Hafs says, they do. 15:8. Warsh says, we do not send down. Warsh says, they do not come down. 19:19 says, that I may bestow, that he may bestow. What's the other one? What do we got here? 21:4. He said, and the other one says, say. 33:68. Mighty versus multinases. I can't even pronounce the damn word. 42:30. Then it is what? It is what? Okay. Complete removal of the word then. 48:17. He makes him enter. We make him enter. 43:19. The slaves of versus with. The slaves of Allah versus with Allah. We got 1:4. Owner of the day, king of the day. How about Surah Al-Baqarah 2:10? They lie, they deny. Actually, when I get to the next source, the bridges, it's going to give you a different thing. 3:146. Fought versus was killed. Many a prophets fought, while many a prophets were killed. 28:48. 2 works of magic, 2 magicians. Okay? So these, ladies and gentlemen, demonstrate that the Qurans are not all the same. But that's not it. Now let me go to the Bridges translation. Okay? This, ladies and gentlemen, is a book that I have in PDF form. It's called The Bridges Translation of the 10 Qirats of the Noble Quran by Fidel Suleiman. Okay, I'm just going to change it to page, what was it, page 47? Okay, we're going to go to the chapter of the cow, and we're going to go right down here, ladies and gentlemen. So basically what this book does, it shows all the differences between those 30 different canonized Quran recitations, Arabic Qurans. So as you see in chapter 2, verse 9, it says, yet they deceive none but themselves. Now you go to the letter D, and what does it say? If you were to read the Nafi, the Ibn Kathir, the Abu Amr, it reads, yet they try to deceive none. Oh, yet they deceive none versus yet they try to deceive. So they added try to. Okay, we go to the very next verse. Chapter 2, verse 10. They used to lie, but if you go to the Nafi, the Ibn Kathir, the Abu Arm, and the Ibn Amar, the Abu Jafar, and the Yaqub, reads, they used to disbelieve. I don't know about Blondie girl over here, but I'm pretty sure they used to lie is not the same as they used to disbelieve. So let me just show you one more. I like to go to 2:125. Let me go to 2:125. 81, 100, 109, 125. Okay. So if we look at where it says, chapter 2, 125, and recall when we made the house a resort for mankind and a sanctuary, and take from Abraham's standing place, a place of prayer. But if we go down to the footnotes, what does it say? And they took from Abraham's. We got one that's in the present tense, and it's a command. And we got one that's in the past tense, historical. But let's go up to the top because I forgot one more. This one right here. Chapter 2, verse 119. It says, for you will not be asked about the fellows of purgatory. This is talking to Muhammad. This verse in the Hafs is telling Muhammad, he will not be asked about the people of purgatory. But let's go see what the other Qirats say. If we pick up the Nafi and the Yaqub, it reads, so do not ask about the fellows of purgatory. So we have one that's telling Muhammad he will not be asked. And then we have other Qurans that tell Muhammad to not ask. Blondie over here must be getting paid a lot of money to pass this bullshit off to ignorant Muslims, because after all, their IQ is lower than room temperature. That's it for series 1. I got 5 more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Just stay tuned, baby.